Well, hello there, love, and welcome to the final episode of the Vital Goddess podcast for 2025. So I wanted to create something special for this end of year. Here we are standing at the end of 2025 and at the threshold of the winter solstice, the December solstice. I wanted to invite you in to a different way, maybe a fresh way for you of meeting the year ahead. So if you've chosen a word or a mantra for 2026, but you're not really feeling it yet, it's not quite landing, you're not feeling the juice of it, this episode is for you. Today we're exploring how pleasure is the portal into creating your life from the inside out in alignment with your desires, and how embodiment brings your intentions to life, and why your vision needs to live in your body before it can manifest and unfold. I'll guide you through a super simple practice to access your most radiant and magnetic version of you and bring your mantra alive. So this is a fun one. Let's dive in. Well, hello there, love, and welcome to the Vital Goddess podcast. If you've been here before, I guess it's welcome back. And I so appreciate you and so thrilled that you're here tuning in for another episode. And if you are brand new, maybe first-time listener, just found the show and just tuning in for the first time, well, I am over the moon you're here, and I hope you find something here that really truly supports you, something that you're looking for at this point on your journey. And again, if you listen to the intro, if you're tuning in on Spotify or Apple, you've heard me say this most likely, that I'm Diane and that I am here to support women who are navigating midlife, who really want to embrace their sensuality and their sexual energy, their eros, to really reframe midlife and actually really launch themselves into the third chapter of their life, feeling so vital, so alive, and so aligned with their authenticity, which is what we're definitely going to be touching on in this episode. But anyway, I'm just really thrilled you're here, whether you've been here for a number of years, perhaps, or just found me. And it really is an honor. It feels like we are stepping into a sacred space every time I sit down to record. And I'm feeling just so grateful today. I have my wood stove is really cranking. It's very cold where I am in upstate New York right now, and it's so beautiful. I'm the kind of person who just loves winter. Anyway, so if you hear the crackling in the background, that's the fire. I just needed to be right near it as I record. It just feels so good on my skin, and it just helps me land in my own body. So I just wanted to give you a little backstory on maybe some background noise you might be hearing. But again, feeling a lot of gratitude right now in my heart. And it's our last episode for 2025. So it feels like there's this closure, but it also just feels really kind of sparkly, like something really alive is cooking. And there's a lot going on. And here we are, heading into the December solstice. I'll be taking a break after I publish this episode for a couple of weeks to hang out with the family, but I'll be back on January 2nd for our first episode of the new year. But again, here we are at the threshold of the December solstice. And we also have a new moon in Sagittarius right before the December solstice. So there's just a lot of energy stirring, a lot of new beginnings, a lot of sense of adventure, like the spark, the fire of adventure, the light returning. There's like a radiant energy I'm feeling. And I'm recording, just a little bit before that, but I'm already feeling it. This whole week has just been, feeling really very warm, but also with a lot of hope and a lot of like turning towards the future. And again, here we are going into the descent of the December solstice. And for the northern hemisphere, of course, that's the darkest night of the year, the dark womb of winter. And it's always been a beautiful time for me to just get really quiet and really carve out some space to feel some emotion. It doesn't necessarily feel festive for me during the solstice, but that pull in actually has over time felt really, really good. Like that quiet pull in, give myself some real space and time to just feel my emotions, give space for emotion, which we'll do in this episode for sure. And really feel into what needs to be let go of, maybe, let go, and what needs to die, so that something new can be reborn. And that's usually when I feel a lot, this pull of the December solstice. Maybe you're feeling it as well. It's also a time of year that things get very busy. So it's like we have to be more intentional, I think, to carve out space for ourselves. It could be really easy to fill your calendar up and, lose that sense of discernment that I think is so necessary to navigate this time of year and the holidays, especially from a place of pleasure and groundedness. But I guess that's the permission feeling I want to create here too. It's for you to, if you can, cross things off your list, carve some space for yourself to feel into your body, feel your emotions, and your emotions are amazing, an amazing guidance system. So we want to definitely, before, we move on to a new year, you want to feel into what's really, really true for you. And this is also the time of year that so many women, myself included, we close a chapter, we let go, we release, but we also, again, looking forward to the year ahead, feeling into perhaps a mantra or a word for the year. So a mantra or a word for 2026. So hence the title of this episode, Pleasure is the Portal. You knew I'm going to talk about pleasure. Pleasure is the portal, bringing your 2026 mantra, or you could say word, to life. So that's what we're going to dive into in this episode. So maybe you've already chosen a word or a mantra for the new year, and that's awesome. Or maybe you can kind of feel it hovering nearby. You're not quite sure what it is. You haven't really gotten the clarity on that yet. Maybe you need to, again, carve out some time to just feel in and tune into yourself and feel some emotions and let your emotions come into motion, that kind of thing. And that's where we really turn on our feminine wisdom. And that's where the real meaningful mantra and words come from, right? From the body, not from the head. So today I wanted to offer you a reframe on the practice, because I think quite often in our society, it does come from the head, and therefore it tends to fall short. And it doesn't have the power that we want it to have to really transform our lives. Because a word and a mantra, again, can fall flat. It can fall flat unless we bring in the feminine art of embodiment, is the way I like to think of it. So this can really transform your word or your mantra from something you just say, maybe just repeat, right? To something you actually live. And just take a breath with me there, right? Feel that difference. Something you say, something you live. We want to transform this into something that you actually can live into, can feel into in 2026. And of course, as I said, pleasure is the portal. So I feel that in general, we need a reframe on manifestation. We've been taught that manifestation happens through the mind and through effort, through repetition, through discipline. Quite often, not everybody speaks about it this way. But when I first heard about manifestation practices and things like that, that's definitely the message I got, right? Just say the affirmation, write it on the mirror. If it feels uncomfortable, lean into it harder, right? Push through resistance, all of those things that are definitely more in the masculine realm, which nothing wrong with that. It just, for me, has always fallen flat. And when I started to really infuse these practices, manifestation, with pleasure, with the feminine, it changes everything. First of all, it's way more fun and you feel it come alive in your body, and it tends to work much better from what I've seen, right? So I encourage you to take this episode in with a sense of curiosity and playfulness, as always. And there's nothing wrong with, just setting an intention, and there's nothing wrong with discipline. However, I think there's a deeper thing to explore when we pull in pleasure and we really step into more devotion rather than discipline. I think there's something really missing when the body is not included. And again, we've been so conditioned and trained to override the body in all areas of life and to just push through. And that definitely shows in certain styles of manifestation. And there's also a lot of pressure. Like, what's your word? What's your word? You got to really attack it almost. And I want to kind of give you permission, myself too, to just let all that go. And again, let's ease into this with flow and fun and a sense of playful curiosity. right? Again, there's something I think missing when we don't honor the body as this incredible sacred vessel that she is. And I love Abraham Hicks' teachings on manifestation for so many reasons. They're not afraid to talk about pleasure, number one. So as soon as I found out about them and their work and how they talk about pleasure, I was like, oh yeah, this is different from what I've heard from other people. So I love how they're not afraid to use the words like desire and pleasure. It feels deeply feminine to me. And one of the things that Abraham Hicks often says is that mantras and affirmations are powerful. Just say them when you're in the vortex. And what does that actually mean, being in the vortex? Well, this is my take on it. Being in the vortex is not a mental state. It's a somatic one. It's an embodied state. It's an embodied state of pleasure. It's an embodied state when our body feels relaxed and open. We feel safe enough, right, to feel open. We feel safe enough to soften. We feel safe enough to be present. And if you know the language of, nervous system regulation, what we're talking about here is the ventral vagal state of the nervous system, or when we're available for connection, right? We're available for pleasure. We're available to digest our food. We're available for healing and rejuvenation. This is what I like to call the pleasure zone. And I also like to call this putting your toes in the sand, because so many of the women that I work with, when I guide them into practices to access this state, drawing from experiences they've had where they felt those things, feeling safe, feeling in their pleasure, feeling ease and flow, just feeling I could just exhale into the experience. Quite often, this is an experience they've had in nature, and quite often it's when they're at the beach on vacation usually, or just have some spaciousness. It doesn't have to be a full-on vacation, but quite often women will be like, oh yeah, I know that space. I know that space in my body, and I can, revisit that. And that's what we do. We revisit it because you want to bring in that vibration. It's a very, very powerful place to be when you're manifesting. So toes in the sand, and maybe feel into that for yourself right now. Can you recall a moment with toes in the sand? Or maybe you're more of a mountain kind of gal. It could be in the mountains, in the woods somewhere for you. But quite often it's a place in nature where you just feel safe. And you can just exhale again into the beauty around you. And what that does, it ignites your sacred feminine, the beauty within you, in such a powerful way. And this is something I don't think that we really explore enough, at how powerful nature is and the beauty of nature, and what a powerful activation that can be when we're receptive enough to breathe it in, which we're going to do here, breathe in, right? The experience, how that can absolutely change your frequency into a very powerful place, the place of manifestation of what you want, rather than having the law of attraction work against you for like that loop of what you don't want, which tends to run. That's a very human thing to do. We all do it, but we want to have good hacks, good pattern disrupts for that, so that we can enter into what Abraham Hicks calls the vortex. We can call it the Venus vortex, or the goddess vortex, if you will, the pleasure vortex, so that we can go there on purpose, deliberately, when we choose, especially when we want to work with our word or our mantra for manifestation. So you can access deep joy and authentic gratitude from that place of toes in the sand, from really feeling what I like to say, you're in your pleasure. So when you're in that state, you become an oracle. Your words actually carry weight. Your body is turned on. I don't mean turned on like an excited turn on. You're just, your radiance is turned on. You illuminate yourself from the inside, and your desires, whatever they may be, will feel more alive and more believable to you. And that's really key. If you played a manifestation at all, you know that we can say we want a thing, and yet our energy is looping something very different. We could be in a downward spiral and we just kind of, slap on some optimistic words. It just doesn't work that way, right? We live in a vibrational universe. We are vibrational beings, and pleasure, I feel, is such a beautiful hack in this, because it can really change how you work with things like mantras and affirmations and intentions. So again, your desires become believable. You feel them, right? You can feel what it would feel like to already have it. You don't have that available to you when you are in overthinking or survival mode, or you're experiencing anxiety. You don't have access to this superpower of yours when you're stressed out. You just don't. So whatever it takes for you to chill the nervous system, get your toes in the sand, it's going to serve you massively. So again, this is the place where, the pressure goes away as well, because you're just in this embodied state. So the mind is what puts pressure on us. So once you come into that embodied state where your desire feels alive in your body, your future doesn't feel like pressure, right? It feels much more like possibility. That's like, yeah, it's happening. It's on the way. It's, I'm living that. I am that. I be that is what we're looking for here. So I really feel this is why so many women get frustrated with manifestation work, and, they're trying to create from a nervous system that's bracing, that's contracting, that's not receptive, and that just doesn't have the power that's available when you are in your pleasure. And what I'm talking about here is super simple pleasure, like literally feeling toes in the sand, sun on your skin, but allowing yourself to truly receive it. Receive the experience, feel the beauty of the experience, and that ignites your inner goddess superpowers. So again, I say this often because I feel it's so true. A big part of my job is to support women to get their toes in the sand and their hands in the clay. And what I mean by that, again, toes in the sand, I think we already covered that, but hands in the clay. When you have your toes in the sand, you're in that place where you can get your hands in the clay and start to really design your life from the inside out, really in alignment with your desires, right? So when your body is nourished, when your senses, your sensuality is awake, when you are in your pleasure, you are inhabiting your feminine genius. And from that place, you have access to your creativity, your intuition, your radiance, your magnetism, and you become the most magnetic version of you. Yeah. When you're in your pleasure, you are the most magnetic version of you. You are vibing at a very high frequency. And that's a good skill to have. Don't you agree? Right? This just becomes more natural the more you practice it. And and it can be fun, again, playful. You don't have to try too hard or, be disciplined about it. It's more about how can you weave it in the smallest, simplest, fun ways, even over the cup of coffee or tea that you sip in the morning, right? Can you get your toes in the sand when you have your first beverage of the day? Really put yourself in that state of pleasure, and you'll see what I mean. It's somatic. It's so different from me explaining to your brain, your mind about it. It's like something you feel. So pleasure is incredible. It's like the ultimate wellness hack in so many ways. It really regulates your nervous system where all the good stuff happens. It really is the place where you can vision and imagine in a meaningful way rather than having your mind kind of regurgitate, most likely, or put pressure on yourself. Like I said earlier, right? Your true imagination, your magical, mystical part of you wakes up. And this is what gives rise to your sovereign choice. And sovereign choice is where creation begins, is where, again, your hands are in the clay. It gives you that agency. So again, I want to really underscore this, that when I say pleasure, I'm not talking about the excited roller coaster type of pleasure. That's more in the fight or flight zone of the nervous system. What we're talking about is that calm place where you can really breathe and exhale, your belly softens. We're going to go there together in a moment. Oh, you can just feel safe enough to feel the beauty around you and feel the beauty within you. And I'm talking about simply, again, taking in the exquisite pleasure of the present moment. And if you're a fan of Eckhart Tolle's work, The Power of Now, right? You can think of this as the power of now through pleasure, how pleasure can bring us in to the present moment where all the magic happens. So you could say this is goddess style manifestation, right? Not forcing, not striving. We're not disciplined here. We are devotional, but we are allowing life to meet us because we are available to receive it. So say that word with me 3 times. Receive, receive, receive. That's what we do in my world. We breathe to receive. And that's really, it's so simple. And yet so few women are practicing this, right? Are playing with this. So your mantra for 2026 doesn't have to, be recited from effort, right? It can be embodied and really, I feel it wants to be, from my opinion, wants to be felt in the cells of your body. And your body, again, is a sacred temple of so many mysteries that for most women is untapped. But this is a real simple way to start getting that experience yourself and playing with it. So let's dive in together and do a little practice together. So take a moment, maybe stretch out a little bit. I would definitely not do this driving. But we want to take a moment to breathe together because that's what we do. That's how we do here in my world. So if it feels safe, you want to find a comfortable seat, of course. Maybe clear some space for your base, your sits bones east to west. If it feels safe to gently close your eyes or soft gaze, that can be really nice. You can take your hands on your body. Your hands on your body are a very subtle but powerful activation of this amazing body of yours. Just that alone is a great practice. Softly placing a hand on the heart and a hand on your lower belly or womb space can be an incredible, gentle, beautiful, powerful activation of your body. And let's start by taking a nice, deep, slow inhale through the nose and a long, unhurried exhale through the mouth with a sigh. So again, breathing in and that sigh, just keep that going, taking just a few rounds of this breath, this ocean breath. So breathing like the ocean wave comes in, wave goes out. Inhaling presence. You want to really soften here. Exhale, letting go of expectation and goals and all of those things. Feeling the breath move your hands. Feel it gently move the hand on the lower belly or womb space on that inhale and exhale. And feeling the breath moving your heart and your breasts. Again, inhale and exhale. Breathing into womb space. Breathing into your heart. Let that exhale soothe you. So good. And just gently focus on the lower hand now, just letting the breath wave, the ocean wave, move your lower hand as we speak to this. And let's get your toes in the sand. Imagine an experience you've had where you just felt so good in your skin, safe enough to really relax into the experience. You might literally have your toes in the sand. I want you to really notice where you are with your mind's eye. Taking in the details. Again, you might be at the beach, you might be in the woods, you might be at a waterfall, you might just be in your favorite place, wherever it is. Let yourself see your surrounding landscape. Notice what you're hearing, if there's any sound in your soundscape here. Maybe you hear the ocean, birds, breeze in the trees. Noticing if there's a taste in your mouth. Perhaps there is. That one is a hit or miss, but quite often women will say, oh yeah, I do. I taste something here. And if you reached out your hands, reach out your hands and touch your landscape, what would you feel? Noticing the texture, noticing what you're wearing as well. So if you took your hands on your own body, what would you feel? Skin, textiles. Staying with that ocean breath. Noticing the scent of this experience now, breathing it in. Exhale, releasing any stress, any doubt. Breathing pleasure into your body. Softening your face, softening your sinuses. I know that sounds weird, but that really makes a difference. We contract there a lot. So soften sinuses and jaw. Let yourself really breathe to receive that scent. Beautiful. Now that you have your toes in the sand, let's gently invite in your word. Now you might already have a word or a mantra. And if you don't, just put your intention there. Maybe one will float up or rise to the surface. And don't force it. Don't try to figure it out. Just let it float up into your awareness. Instead of saying it yet, just ask your body, where does this live in me, in my body? And is there a sensation? So location and sensation. Maybe you feel a warmth, maybe a cooling, or it could be bubbles. I often feel like champagne bubbles. It could be like a buzzing, a zing, goosebumps. Just notice what you're feeling. And with your breath, with your ocean breath, breathing to receive in that state of pleasure, to just breathe this more alive in your body. Feel yourself, toes in the sand, just gently putting your attention on that word or mantra and breathing it alive. And let pleasure, even if it's really super subtle, let pleasure bring you into deeper presence, deeper aliveness. And feeling your word or mantra alive. So good. So this is the vortex. This is where your goddess vortex, the place you can step into, the place where your mantra, your word really becomes real, felt, alive. So here's the truth I want you to take into the new year, right? Pleasure doesn't distract you from your vision. It doesn't distract you from your purpose. It actually delivers you into it. We've accumulated so many limiting beliefs about pleasure, and beliefs are just thoughts that we continue to think. So much evidence to back up those beliefs, but none of that's true. Your pleasure doesn't distract you. It delivers you into your vision. So when you really care for your body, you tend to your body, you honor your radiance and your beauty. When you allow yourself to slow down and feel, right? Slow down enough to feel, your intentions stop feeling like wishes. This is so important. Like maybe someday, can you feel how that's kind of vague, right? And they start to feel inevitable. Like, yeah, it's already here. And not like in a pushy, egoic way at all. It's just like, yeah, I am that. And this is how embodiment work can really change your life. It can really help you teach your body to believe what your mind also desires. It creates this beautiful synergy of using the power of your mind for you in service to you instead of against you, which quite often is the case. So learning how to step into this goddess vortex of yours, get your toes in the sand, truly put your hands on the clay, where you can start to, again, play with this in a really powerful way. Oh, take a big exhale. Maybe move your body, shake a little bit, stir a little bit. So good. And again, as I mentioned earlier, this is, why the solstice matters so much too. This is a really good time to start working with this right before and during the whole solstice portal, rather than waiting for the new year or right before the new year, because this is much more in alignment with what's happening, with the darkness and the light returning. There's a powerful portal to step into, a really great time to work with the new spark, the new seeds that you want to plant. And, combine that with this new moon in Sagittarius, which is all about, really your truth, your sacred truth, and what's next on the horizon for you. It's a new moon of new beginnings, especially with Sagittarius there. So it's a really powerful time right now to start working with this. When your body's just naturally tuning in, coming inward, when the world, we can choose the quiet space we need to allow things to get quiet so we can tune in. And it could be, again, a beautiful way to work with it. So again, if you've chosen a word already and it hasn't quite landed yet, just know that your body knows, trust her, and it'll definitely surface for you. And I think the more, the lighter touch, the more you can bring curiosity and playfulness in. It's going to really help have this come alive for you. So I just want to gently remind you as well, heading into the solstice, new moon in Sagittarius. You may have heard me say this already, but the temple, the living temple that I run for women, it's called the Vital Goddess Mastery Program, is open. And this is the work we do together. We dive deep. We go in and work with various sacred feminine archetypes, and we do a lot of embodiment, a lot of sensual embodiment. We really bring pleasure into a deeper space, really embodied space with, again, breath and practice, Taoist and Tantric practices, all held in really powerful sisterhood. And I have a solstice offering that's still open and alive, just for a few more days. And if you're feeling the pull, it's a really beautiful moment to step in to your next adventure. Again, new moon in Sagittarius. What a great time to do this and to be supported, right, for your next adventure. What's on the horizon for you? This could be an incredible container to support you in that. And the special is 50% off. So this is the most generous offer I make all year. The solstice offers, it's like 50% off. I wanted to just put that out there for you. Once you sign up, we can get you settled in, and you don't have to do this alone, right? And you don't have to push. You get to saunter in to 2026 without pressure, without push, and without striving. Yeah. So that closes this episode and this year together in terms of the podcast. So I'm just so grateful that you're here. And I hope the pleasure that you've cultivated today really serves you, softens your path ahead. And I hope that your word or your mantra really arrives, if it hasn't already, and you're able to really embody that with pleasure as a living frequency, because that's where the power is. Thank you so much for being with me here on the show. It's been such an honor to be in this space with you. And until next time, soften and breathe. Let your pleasure lead, and have a beautiful, radiant holiday season. Beautiful. We'll see you next year. Take care.